Greetings, this is L. Bennett Turner, aka LuvLinuxOS, coming at you again with another informative video. I guess last month I started featuring website of the month. I got a feature for distro of the month and a feature for application of the month. I'm really excited about what this month of February has to offer in the new year. So I'm going to try to start early so I can offer a lot of different things and discuss and talk about quite a few things on my blog here. So in one of my searches or Googling on the internet, I think it was all about, again, Pixie. That's what the whole focus of things have been. Pixie booting, extending my home network and things. One of my search results yielded a familiar website. And it's funny because I have been visiting this website since 1998. And so it's really a great pleasure and a great honor to feature this website on my page, on my blog and everything, and to make this video about it. So I hope those of you who are interested or enjoy learning about Linux or open source or false free open source software, OSM, the open source movement, HOS, my little terminology, hardware plus open source software. I hope this is a great site for you to get started upon. So okay, let's look at Yo Linux. Here we go. Now YoLinux.com. Like I said, I've been here since '98. So what I want to do first is just show you some chops when you've been putting in work. So if you look down here, and you see this right here, this whole footer right here is giving credit where credit is due. But the copyright for Yo Linux is from 1999 to 2014. I told you I've been visiting this site since 1998. So I was visiting this site before they had all the copyrights and their trademarks and everything in play. So I think that was pretty cool. And the little Fonzie, the little tux with the Fonzie jacket and shades, making the Fonzie move is a classy touch or a nice play for me. Good old happy days. But if we go and look beyond that, if you look right here, you got your security alerts, and it's giving you all the different things. It's keeping you abreast on where you need to be with security, telling you about the latest kernels, sources and everything, the latest drivers, announcements and everything, what's going on, the vulnerabilities. And it's just a site with a plethora of resources right here in one general location that you can just get involved. You know, you have your regular menu items of what you can do and jump to on the page. You know, just say if you're interested in programming. This is one of my things that I've always been interested in since I first picked up a PC or a keyboard. It is always the basic programming language was my first little joy and everything. So if you're interested in programming, the resources are there for you. You want to know about the latest hardware, what is and what is not working. The resource is there for you. There's just a ton of things that you can do. If this site is so well organized, it's full of how-tos, it's full of directions, it's full of where you need to go for general information, detailed information, from the very beginner, noob, all the way to the experienced guru. You have every type of resource that you may need at your fingertip, at the click of a mouse. You have a way of getting there to where you want to go. Just a full link to all your guides and how-to in the Linux documentation project, which is the de facto with knowing or finding or reading about the intricate details of Linux, GNU Linux, or the Linux kernel. So, you know, I'm not going to go into a lot of different things. You got tutorials you can do. And, you know, just so many different things that you can spend on and invest in this one site. Most of the thing that I do want to point out is that most of these sites about Linux and about FOSS and open source is freely available. And most of the time that you see the advertisement on these sites, it leads to some good information. But most importantly, what it sets out to me and it says to me is that, hey, we're not making our money off of giving you this abundance of information or informing you about this awesome movement. We're making it from advertising. Please click, because generally that's the bulk of anyone who's into the open source movement. They're making their money off of advertising. Even if you look at most of the free software that's available on any platform, especially mobile platform, then this the advertisement that's supporting these different entities or individuals, myself included. It's the advertisement on my blog page that I make money from, and essentially it's a lifeline for me, and I know it has to be for these guys who put in so much work. I mean, the bounty of work and the cost of my education alone. I have to laugh because I may not have been exposed to in each of my little courses that I took in undergrad and graduate. I took about this little particular course, or this particular programming language, or this particular operating system, or this particular subject of architectural design, this discipline of database management, and I still was not exposed to the plethora of the wealth of technology that's just here to lead you on this page, not unless what the internet has to offer or what the open source movement in general has to offer. So I just wanted to share it. Hey, don't get me wrong now, education pays and it feels great, and obtaining my education and my experience through post-secondary education, through extending my education and through learning. I have no problem, but at the same time, I must admit that you can flip a coin on what route you really want to go. Do you want to work and gain your experience through life, or do you want to gain your experience through an education process? I've taken the educational process route. Life is still giving me some experience as well, and I feel blessed because I kind of have the best of both worlds. Increasing your knowledge should be the whole purpose of life anyway. If you're just walking around and just taking what life gives you, and you're not seeking new knowledge, new avenues, new opportunities, and you might be wasting your time. Or if that's what you want to do, hey, all well to you, that well too. For me personally, and for most people that I meet and encounter in this OSM, open source movement, that strictly about gaining knowledge. Not everyone took a structured educational path. Some of the major players, the founders of Google, were in graduate school. Even Mr. Linus Torvald, I hope I'm enunciating his name correctly, was in graduate school. And most of the guys that are major players had, post-secondary and advanced education under their belt, as well as being active and out there in the different communities in the open source movement. So, that's what I wanted to say. I know that, hey, education might not be everybody's route, but being void of knowledge is no one's. You can point that that finger at yourself now, because you choose to be that way. Out here on the internet, you have the opportunity. You have the best library, the largest library possible, and I'm just telling you, probably like in one section of a major library you go to, a museum or whatever you want to go to learn about, wherever you want to go to take in a physical landscape of learning, or a college campus, and you just got one building, one department. That's your Linux. It's that department dedicated to Linux. It's doing a fine job, and I take my hats off to them. Like I said, you have a lot of terms of use: privacy policy, advertising, contact. Future in your blog, and then Linux OS gmail.com. And look, this is, I thought, was just, hey, straightforward, subject, email address. If you want to reply, you're going to send an email. And look here. Don't email us about poor printing using Microsoft Internet Explorer, MS Internet Explorer. Use Mozilla or Firefox with scales to print on page. Hey, you ain't using freeware or free software, or you're not using products of the open source community, don't come here with the bull now. That's basically how I looked at it, and I was like, okay, that's just straightforward. So I basically, pre-prepared my letter, but my email, the contents of my email earlier, and I just wanted to send an email to these guys to let them know, hey, I'm featuring you in February on my blog about your website, and I hope I get a response. You stop by and leave a comment or something. So there we go. Information sent. So I hope you guys learned something, that you're able to check out YoLinux.com. It's an awesome site with a plethora of information, and it is a great portal to learning about the open source movement. I would like to thank you all for viewing my video, and be blessed.